Blue crystal eyes, colors of the sky, gray bushy beard, Santa's look alike. Shine on your brothers on earth, suffering, living joy, or in pain. Blue crystal eyes, colors of the sky, gray bushy beard, Santa look alike. Shine on your brothers on earth, suffering, living joy, or in pain. Bezerra de Menezes, apostle of the good, receive our prayers and also our heart. Bezerra de Menezes, apostle of the light, place our pain at the feet of Jesus Christ. Oh Jesus, here I am, my knees on the floor, to say thank you, my Lord, for the lights that come through this door. Your love is the key to change the entire world. Using these chains wisely, we will live in peace and harmony. Now I understand, helping others is helping myself. Your words now are so crystal clear. Your teachings have no frontiers. To see all these transformations, we just have to put love in action. Now I understand, so crystal clear. Your teachings have no frontiers. To see all these transformations, we just have to put love in action.
Wherever you are, glowing seeds of love, as our Master Jesus taught. You will see that behind every sight there's a flame shining bright, tiny spark created by God. I will follow your path, Father, 'cause nobody is alone in life, and the scars of my destiny will be healed by your love. Disseminate wherever you are, glowing seeds of love,
Another day, another flower, another minute past the hour. Someday the sky is blue, and suddenly we can't see through. Every day is a fresh new start. When the sun turns off the moonlight, we get another chance to choose the route we want to cruise. And on the other side of the mountain, there's always a whole new route, a new beginning calling after every end. There are a million reasons to pick you up after every fall. It's always a win in the new round. On the other side of the mountain, there's always a whole new route, and the new beginning calling after every end. And there are a million reasons to pick you up after every fall. It's always a win in the new round. It's always a win in the new round. It's always a win in the new round. It's always a win in the new round.
When I go in to pray, I look for my good Jesus. And when I close my eyes, I can feel all His light. I open my heart for all He has to say. He shows me the best way I can enjoy my life. Jesus, Jesus, they never we apart. Please bring all your light to shine inside my heart. Jesus, Jesus, I can be content. I have your endless love and your protecting hand.
Hello, everyone. Good evening. Welcome to our public meeting. We thank everyone for joining us tonight. Before we start, we would like to share a couple of announcements. We ask you to turn off your phone notifications and find a quiet place to stay during this time if possible. Our meeting will have a 30 minutes presentation followed by Q&A. Then, after the presentation, we will have a spiritual treatment with passes and magnetized water. So we invite you to set aside the container with your water to be magnetized. We would like to announce that our public meeting is being retransmitted today by Continental Conference Americas through their Facebook, and will also be retransmitted every Wednesday at 8 p.m. by Kardec Radio through their Facebook and YouTube. For those who want to learn more about Spiritism, Get to Know to Spiritism is a free and online course that happens every Saturday at 5:15 p.m. East. The new class have started on September 9th. However, if you want to join us, please find the registration link in the chat. We offer virtual live gospel at home. Did you know that? The gospel at home is an effective support for you and your family's spiritual harmony. We will motivate and guide you in establishing and maintaining the gospel at home study meetings. By posting in the chat, you can request it. Please let us know. You are welcome to include your or someone else's names on the list of vibration, a positive vibration for incarnate or discarnate. The person you indicate will be assisted by good spirits to provide healing energy and strengthen goodwill. Please find the link in our chat. The topic of today's meeting is the mission of Spiritists from chapter 20, Workers of the Last Hours, item 4, which will be facilitated by our sister Larissa from London, Ontario. Everyone is welcome to write comments and questions in the chat, and we will address the questions at the end of the talk. And now, I would like to invite our tonight's speaker that will also do our opening prayer as well. Welcome, Larissa.
Hi, Marcel. How are you?
I'm good. How are you? I'm so happy to have you here tonight.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here as well. And I'm glad to be talking with you guys about this topic. So let's start with our opening prayer.
See you later.
Okay. So let's close our eyes and elevate our thoughts to our Master Jesus and to the friendly spirits that are here with us tonight. Master Jesus, we would like to thank you for this opportunity to be here, to study and learn from your teachings. And we also would like to ask for your protection for all the work that will be done tonight. May we be able to learn from this talk, from this message, and may we be able to put into practice in our daily lives as well. We trust that you will be with us today and always. So be it. Okay, so let me just share my screen with you. So as Marcel have said before, we will be continuing our studies for the Gospel according to the Spiritism, and we are currently in the chapter 20, Workers of the Last Hour. And today specifically, we will be talking about the item 4, which is called the Mission of the Spiritists. And before we start into the actual message, I decided that I just thought that we could start looking into the meaning of mission, because this will help us to understand what exactly we will be studying tonight, specifically because we will be talking about the mission of the Spiritists. So we call ourselves Spiritists. So the message today will help us to understand what is being expected from us as a mission, right? So let's see first. So by definition, mission is a specific task with which a person or a group is responsible. It can also be a pre-established and often self-imposed objective. For example, a company's mission or a group's mission. And it can also be a calling or vocation. So today, as I was saying, we will be studying with the help of this message, what is the mission of the Spiritists? And when we call ourselves Spiritists, when we are studying, when we are putting into practice all these learnings, we need to have a clear understanding how important is this knowledge for us, for ourselves, for our lives, but also that once we have that, we need to understand that it's also a mission. And we will be seeing that, at least for me, it was really important to kind of like remind myself when I was studying for this talk on how important it is to disseminate this knowledge as well. So the message that we will be seeing today is from the spirit Erastus, and he was the medium's guardian angel, the guardian angel of the medium that received this message in Paris in 1863. And he starts his message saying, "Praise the Lord, all those who have put their faith in his sovereign justice and who, as new apostles of the belief revealed by the superior prophetical voices, go forth to preach the new doctrine of reincarnation and the elevation of spirits according to whether they have fulfilled their mission and supported their terrestrial trials well or badly." So we know that one of the most important message of Spiritism is bringing clarity about reincarnation process and the law of progress. So both of these, those are connected, right? So whenever we think that we have the law of progress, so we are always evolving, the reincarnation is the process through that the spirit can go through to evolve, right? And the spirit starts here saying that one of the missions is to preach this new doctrine, is to preach this new knowledge, even though we know that many other religions or doctrines also have reincarnation as one of the concepts. For the Spiritism, we know that it's really important, especially for us, to understand the progress of the spirit, because we know that when we are in this material life, we will be going through many experiences, good or bad, but especially when we are in those trials, it's depending on how we are supporting it or being resilient with it, that we will be learning through it or even acquiring the virtues that we need in order to progress as spirits. So as spirits, we are created simple and ignorant by God. And it's true, like I was saying, it's true the many reincarnations that we will be elevating according how we will fulfill those missions that we will have in our lives. And as Jesus said, in the world, we will have afflictions, right? So as spirits, we are invited to look those afflictions as the opportunity to continue our learning. And how important is to preach this doctrine, right? To preach Spiritism, because it brings consolation, knowing that we are here to go through life, to go through all those experiences, good or bad, that will bring us in the afterlife when we go back to the spiritual realm. We will be able to assess, right, if we truly put into practice all this knowledge and we actually acquire those virtues, or if we would still need more and more experience in the material life to continue those progress. And we know that we come to this life in a family, we will have our work, we will have so many people surrounding us. So the spirit's saying here, when it says that we need to preach this new doctrine, it's because we are also, as spiritists, responsible to share this knowledge, because we know that it's a knowledge of consolation. So we are also responsible to share this knowledge in order to help other people that are in our lives to go through life, go through these struggles, and and maybe seeing in a different way with a new perspective, and help them navigate through it. So we can be this instrument in other people's lives too. And the message continues: fear not, tongues of fire are upon your heads. O true followers of Spiritism, you are the chosen ones of God. Go and preach the divine word. The time has come in which you must sacrifice your habits, labors, and futile concerns to its propagation. So the Spirit is very clear here. He advises us that the time has come and we must choose better our priorities. And I'm saying we because I'm definitely included on this, right? Most of the times we are going through life in like automatic pilots. Most of the times we are not like choosing our priorities correctly. And this ends up, like he's saying here, the most important as a spiritist, at least so far, is to disseminate the word, is to make other people's aware. And for that, of course, we need the knowledge first. And like if you are here studying with us or participating in the studies of the Saturday, we know that we need that knowledge first. We need to have that knowledge. And once we have that in our lives and we are putting into practice, we will serve as example. But how many times we trick ourselves? We think, oh, I'm too tired from the week. I'm not going to the study this week. Or maybe we end up, creating a lot of excuses instead of going and maybe participating in a charity work. Or how many times we are called by life, right, to be someone that will give a word of consolation to somebody that is in need. So every day we have a new opportunity and we are being called to be the instrument of this message. So having the knowledge is definitely the most important, because how can we pass it through if we don't have for ourselves? But also trying to put into practice and being the living example of it is also one of the missions, right? And the Spirits here is saying that we must sacrifice our habits, labors, or futile concerns, right? Because sometimes we even feel like, oh, I'm not going to say this, or I'm not going to give my point of view in this situation because what other people will think. So a lot of times we ended up wasting maybe an opportunity to bring clarity and to bring light to the life of someone that is surrounding us, because we are more concerned of like how ourselves will look to it, or we are focused on distractions, or even on feelings that most of the times are excuses. So it's a good food for the thought that I'm bringing to you today is try to think like, is there any opportunity that you are missing throughout your week? And how can you start, sacrificing a little bit, but in order for you to be this instrument, to really put it into practice. And let's continue here. So, and then the spirits continue saying, go forth and proclaim it. The elevated spirits are with you. So sometimes we don't feel that we are capacitated to do it, right? Even like I was saying, sometimes we just think, oh, like, who am I to say it? Or who am I to maybe help on that? But they say that the elevated spirits are with us. We have our mentors. And whenever we have goodwill, like if we have goodwill, if we have an idea that maybe it will help, and it doesn't need to be a grandiose thing. Sometimes it's even within your family. Is there anything that you can do to your family or start doing, like a small habit that will change maybe the life of your family? And then think about your work, think about the other places that you go. And always remember, we always have the spirits, the elevate spirits with us. We always have our mentors. So if it's something that it's already in your mind, it came as an idea, it came as an intuition, it means that you are capacitated to it. And goodwill, the spirit says in other message, is that goodwill is the only thing that is needed. If we have goodwill and do the first step, everything else will fall into place. And people that, if you need help, people will be showing up. So it's a matter of faith, of course. It's a matter of really putting into priority what do you need to express, what is the change that you want to see in your world, like in your own space, but also in your community, in your family, in your community, in your country. It always starts with a small step. And the Spirit Erastus continue the message. Of course, you will speak to individuals who will not want to listen to the voice of God. For that voice incessantly calls them to selflessness. You will proclaim there is disinterestedness to the greedy, abstinence to the dissolute, and kindness to domestic tyrants, as well as to despots. Wasted words, I know, but what does it matter? So, as spiritists, we are seeing that disseminating this knowledge is the most important task. Like I was saying, you will see that in this message, I didn't count, but there, like the Spirit was saying a bunch of times, like go forth and proclaim it. Um, and it's saying here that yes, maybe you will be in a situation where you will speak about it, or you will bring this knowledge, and people will not want to hear, or it because the message of the gospel, if we think on even back in Jesus times, right, it was shocking for the for that time, and it's still a little bit shocking for those days, for these days too, because it is a message that preaches uh, preaches the love, preaches the humbleness, the humility, the and love your enemies, or even you need to sorry, I missed the word. You need to change, modify your pride. You need to be humble, right? So it's a message that it can be shocking, and it goes against of many vices that we have as incarnated spirits here, that we are um, to evolve and to go through these trials. We are still imperfect, right? So even having the knowledge, it doesn't make us to change instantaneously, right? We still need to do the work. So the Spirit here is saying to us that yes, we will ended up talking or giving, let's say, the word to people that maybe they will not listen, or they will not even change, or even do anything to change, right? And yes, we can think it's wasted words, maybe it's a wasted of your time, but he is also saying here, what does it matter? And we will understand why he's saying that. You must water with your sweat the ground that you must sow, for it will not produce a crop except through repeated efforts of the evangelical hoe and plow. Go forth and proclaim. So disseminating the divine word is never wasted. We will be watering the hard soil that eventually, no matter how long it takes, it will produce a crop. And as spiritists, we need to be aware of this mission, as other people have also watered our many lives in order for us to maybe be here tonight speaking about it, or listening about it, seeking this knowledge. And maybe, and many will still do it for us, so we can keep evolving. So we also have this responsibility to be the example for those who are surrounding us, in the sense that we never know at which stage the people that are around us are in life, right? So maybe you will be the person that will uh, uh, like your word will be the last drop, let's say, that that person needs to make a huge change in their lives. Who knows, right? So that's why it's never wasted, because we never know, like I was saying, the stage that the other people are. Maybe you will be the one that will talk about this knowledge in a way that the other person will understand, right? How many times we can think about our own lives, how many times, and even studying the gospel, sometimes I just read the passage like 100 times. And then one day I listened to a talk, or I listened someone saying this about the same passage in a way that I never understood before. And that brings me a whole different knowledge about it. So think about it, and really be aware that you can be that person in a lot of people's lives, right? It's just a matter of being aware and being available for it. We can be the instrument of God to bring this light to those who are in need, or to those who are around us. And he continues the message saying, yes, all you men and women of good faith who are aware of how small you are as you look at other worlds scattered throughout the infinite space, set out on a crusade against injustice and iniquity. Go forth and reverse this worship of the golden calf, which spreads more and more each day. So I had to search a little bit just to remember more about the golden calf that he's mentioning here. So for those who doesn't know, in the Bible, a golden image of a calf was fashioned by Aaron. I think he was Moses' brother, if I'm not mistaken, and worshipped by the Israelites while Moses was on Mount Sinai. And in this sense, he's mentioning this because of our, because nowadays we ended up putting a lot of material things, or let's say our object of veneration and worship, we like the modern world is really being put into material things, or even social media or money, right? So sometimes we can think about our own selves, is that, are we really putting God into priority in our life, or are we putting other things as priority? So he's saying here that as spiritists, we should first of all recognize how small we are. I mean, with the infinite space, we know that there are many worlds that are even more evolved than Earth right now. And as spirits that are in progress, and as spiritists having this knowledge, we know that as we know that we are still imperfect, and we are not better or worse than anybody, right? And that's why we should be, like he said there, right? We should be, on a crusade against injustice and iniquity. And we also should be the instrument to really show God as the primary thing that we should be seeking, right? And the Spiritism brings us this laws of love, of progress, of cause and effect, so many different universal laws that can be applied to our lives, and that can help us to, like he's saying in this message, to put as priority our evolution, right? Because once we understand that we are here incarnated for a mission, right? There is a plan. We are not here by random, right? So once we are aware of that, and once we really understand the meaning of this mission, not just as spiritists, but if we are having this knowledge, this will be definitely something that we will have to be accountable for, right? So really take our attention off those distractions, off those golden calf, like he's mentioning here, in order for us to really use this opportunity that we are here now to continue the path of evolution, and also helping other people surrounding us to on the navigating through it. And he continues the message saying, "Go, God will guide you. Simple and unlearned men and women, your tongues will be loosened, and you will speak as no other orator speaks. Go forth and proclaim, and attentive people will joyfully take in your words of consolation, fraternity, hope, and peace." So, like I was saying before, sometimes we feel that we don't have the skill to talk or to speak, public speaking, or maybe we don't feel that we have the skill to lead a project or be someone to be the head of a charity work, for example. But the Spirit here is encouraging us that God will guide us when we have good intentions and goodwill, right? So, like I was saying, is whenever we have the goodwill and we do the first step, we will be receiving all the help and support that we need. So the spirits that are mentoring us, they are constantly trying to influence us to keep our life into the path that was planned before we incarnate, right? And like he's saying here, no matter what skill you think you don't have, it doesn't matter as long as you start, those skills, they will be acquired. They will be, as long as you have goodwill and as long as you seek for information and seek for learning, you will find people will come to your life. And personally, I had so many experiences of that. We currently have a charity work that we do in London, and it started so small. It started just me at my home, and nowadays, after 1 year and a half, a little bit more than that, we are also with a big group and helping way more than I ever imagined. But it everything just starts with one decision, right? You need to decide what is important and what is the thing that you want to do in order to not beneficiate just yourself, but your family, your community. So think about it. What you can start putting to priority, or even if there is something that you always wanted to do and you didn't have the time yet to put into thinking, the Spirit is saying here, God will guide you. So the spirits are always with us. The good spirits are always trying to influence us in order for us to keep in the good path. And they say here also, right, that the people that are attentive, or the people that are in the right time, let's say, they will be listening to the words of consolation, of fraternity, hope, and peace, right? So like I was saying before, even though maybe for a lot of people, you might sound like, oh, I don't believe that. Oh, this is crazy. You know what I mean? But then for one specific person, that will change everything for her or for him. And also, we never know, but this person, they can be the instrument for so many others, right? So it's kind of like a chain. We are all interconnected. And but we are only responsible for our own actions, right? And that's what we are accountable for. So as spiritists, we need to be aware of this mission. We need to be aware of how important is this knowledge for the time that we are right now. And it's interesting because we have been studying this chapter that we are the workers of the last hour, right? So we need to be aware of how important is this opportunity to be incarnated in this point of time, and how much our spreading this knowledge can be beneficial, right? Not only for your own journey, but also for the people that are with you in your journey. And he continues saying, what matter the traps that will be set for you along your way? Only wolves fall into traps. For wolves, because the shepherd knows how to defend his sheep against such murderous butchers. So he is also letting us know that even though there will be people trying to trick us, there will be people maybe even vibrating in not a good way around us, we also will have protection whenever we are doing a work that has impact, right? That will be impactful. We will also have the protection of the good spirits. So he continues, go forth, men and women who are great before God, and who, more blessed than St. Thomas, believe without asking to see, and accept the fact of mediumship, even when you have never been successful in obtaining it yourselves. So that's interesting because the concept that Spiritism brings about mediumship, we all have some levels of mediumship, right? But there are those that have a more ostensive mediumship that definitely should not at least deny about the spiritual realm, right? With that ability, right? With that level of mediumship. However, people like me, for example, that I don't have any ostensive mediumship, but still believes. So he's saying here that blessed are those who believe without asking to see, without having to have this proof specifically, right? So because we know that mediumship is not a mission for all the spirits that are here incarnated, right? It's a very specific mission, and not all spiritists will have the mediumship, let's say, this channel open to be used in this life, right? And it's okay, but the thing is, the concept and the knowledge is the most important to be learned and disseminated. So he continues saying, go forth, the Spirit of God is leading you. Press onward, magnificent phalanx of faith, and the great battalions of these believers will vanish before you like the morning mist at the first rays of the rising sun. So he's saying that we shouldn't be concerned about people that are disbelievers, or people that are not vibrating in the same energy that we are, because this will not impact the good work if we are really with goodwill and good intentions in the actions that we are doing, right? So faith is the virtue that moves mountains, Jesus said. However, impurity and all its vices lie heavier than the heaviest mountains on the heart of humankind. So go forth with courage to move this mountain of iniquity, which future generations will know about only through legend, just as you yourselves know only very imperfectly about the period prior to pagan civilization. So faith, right? I believe we had a study about faith that moves mountains. And he's saying about faith here, but he's saying about the mountain that sometimes we have in our hearts, right? So when we know that we are all imperfect, so we are all here because we still need to acquire many virtues, which means that we still have many vices, and that mountains here comes as the obstacle, right? So that those things that make us avoid or make us harder to acquire the virtues that we need. So it's the Spirit is saying here to us that we need to have courage to move this mountain of iniquity, right? So not only we will not only be the instrument of for that to other people, but we also need to look into our own hearts and see what are the vices that are heavy on my own heart, on my own life, and what I need to do in order to remove that, right? So it's very interesting that we are talking about mountains here, but it's actually meaning, right? This the obstacles or the things that are harder for us. We all have, if we self-reflect a little bit, we will see that we all have patterns of feelings, of situations that happens with us and repeatedly, meaning that those are the specific ones that we need um, to assess and make sure we visit and we um, try to analyze it and really put into practice the opposite, right? So if I have I don't know, maybe if I have anger problems, right? I will be attracting situations where I will feel angry, right? So then those situations will be the ones that will guide me to be more patient, to control my anger, my fury, right? So it sounds weird, but that's how we learn. Most of the times, unfortunately, we have to go to extremes. Most of the time, we will have to go through situations that will show us really the opportunity to give the other face, like Jesus said, right? So he continues saying, yes, moral and philosophical upheavals will occur at all points on the globe. The time approaches when the divine light will be shed over the two worlds. So this is interesting to see because we know for sure that, and the Spirit tells us that whenever we have like he's saying here, a moral or philosophical upheaval is always in different points. It happens all the time. Even if we think about the history of Spiritism, how Spiritism started, uh, it started with different places having mediumistic events, right? So we know for sure that whenever is a knowledge that humankind needs, it will be showing in different places until it's the time to really comes in a format that we will be learning from it, that we will be more, let's say, systematized, like the work that Kardec did, for example, the compilation that he did in the basic introduction books, right? And he's saying here the time approaches when the divine light will be shed over the two worlds. So it will reach to a point where it should in the future reach to a point where everybody has the knowledge of the laws, everybody has the knowledge of the spiritual realm. And this will definitely impact all areas of our lives, for sure. And now he continues saying that go forth then and take the divine word to the great ones of the world who will scorn it, to the learned who will demand proof, to the small and simple who will accept it, because it is especially among the martyrs of labor, earthly expiation, that you will find zeal and faith. So he is mentioning again about the different people that will hear from the divine word, right? So as spiritists, when we are disseminating, we will be saying for different people that are in different stages. But he is saying especially for those ones who are small and simple. So those ones that are ready to accept, right? That are humble enough to accept the message, we will find them with enough faith and enough goodwill, right, to accept the message and pass it along, and also modifying their own lives through it, right? Oops. So go forth with canticles of thanksgiving and songs of praise to God. They will receive the holy consolations you bring them, and they will bow their heads in thanks for their portion of earthly afflictions. May your phalanx be armed with resolution and courage. Get to work. The plow is ready. The soil awaits you. Now you must work. Go forth and give thanks to God for the glorious task He has entrusted to you. But bear in mind that among those called to Spiritism, many have gone astray. So watch your course and follow the way of the truth. So here it's important. We are almost in the end of our talk, but the spirits show us here that even though a lot of people will be awake for the message of the Spiritism, it doesn't mean that all of them will be following it, right? Will be actually putting into practice those knowledge. So calling ourselves Spiritists, it doesn't really mean much if we are not being the actual example of it, right? So he is advising us, watch your course and follow the way of truth. So we need to be responsible for what we are actually living, right? Are we doing our work, our self-work? And now we are heading to the end of the talk, and the Spirit says that maybe we might ask, after all this idea of this mission that we have as Spiritists, we might ask the following question. If many of those called to Spiritism have gone astray, by what signs do we recognize those who are on the righteous path? And the answer that he brings us is the first thing, you will recognize them by the principles of true charity that they profess and practice. So we have seen previous chapters that without charity, there is no salvation. And charity is love in action. So as Spiritists, this should be the most important principle to profess and practice in our daily lives. The second thing that he says that we will recognize is we will recognize them by the number of afflicted whom they take consolation. So we know that Spiritism is the promised consoler. So as Spiritists, we also should be spreading the message in order to take consolation for those who are afflicted, for those in our lives that might be beneficial. Well, everyone will benefit somehow from the message, but especially those ones who seek because they are going through affliction. That's the ones that we should be most importantly spreading this message. You will also recognize them by their love for their neighbor, their selflessness, and their personal disinterestedness. So Jesus' teachings and example should guide us as Spiritists to continuously love all the people that are surrounding us with selflessness and humbleness, navigating through life no matter what comes our way. And most important, anytime we are doing that, like charity or through consolation of the afflicted, we should always do without any personal interest, without any like waiting for something to come back, right? And the last thing that he says is that we will recognize them finally by the triumph of their principles, for God wills the triumph of his law. So those who obey his laws are the elect, and he will give them victory. However, he will crush those who falsify the spirit of that law and who make it a stepping stone for satisfying their vanity and ambition. So as we know, God wants his laws to be triumphed, right? He wants his laws to be used by us in the good way, right? And when we understand that everything that happens has a purpose, everything that comes to our lives has something for us to learn, for us to help, to support, or even for us to pass through, right? Sometimes we won't change some afflictions. We will have to pass through resilient, with resignation through it, right? And whenever we understand that everything happens because it's for our own good, we end up being more obedient, right? Understanding more the even though sometimes we can't understand completely, I mean, but we can always look with more gratitude for everything that happens to us, because in the end we know that God um, is good all the time, and God's wills to us is always pleasing and perfect and good, right? So that's basically what the spirit is saying to us here, is that as a spiritist we should be this example and this instrument, not only for our own life, but also, and most important, for those who are in the journey with us. Because we will not be able to progress without having those people around us to also be the instrument in our lives, right? And most important is to uh, make sure that we are following and we are actually putting into practice those teachings. Because like I said, if we are calling ourselves as spiritists, we will be accountable for it as well, right? So that's the message for today. Thank you so much for your time, and I'll be here if you have any comments or questions, okay?
Hi, Larissa. Thank you so much for your presentation and reflection on
Thank
this
you.
lesson. It was really great, really helpful for us. It is clarified a lot. But because we are running out of the time, we cannot do the questions.
No problem. I'm so sorry.
I know, I am sorry about that. Yeah, but we have some questions and some comments there, and we thank everyone for the participation in the chat. And we thank you again for coming. And was a beautiful reflection. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Have a good night. Bye
Thank
bye.
you. Bye. We will now move to the preparation for the tonight's spiritual treatment. PAS is the transfusion of spiritual energy with the goal of assisting with our physical, emotional, and mental balance. PASs help us to restore a state of harmony and peace by replacing negative energy with health and positive energy. In order to receive the best benefits from passes, please follow the audio instruction or remain in prayer. You may close your eyes to help with mentalization. During the pass, the water you set aside will also absorb the spiritual energy that your family and you can benefit from. We will now make a prayer in preparation for the pass, which will be our closing prayer as well. So I invite everyone to close our eyes if you feel comfortable. Master Jesus, we are here one more time to thank you for everything you have done for us. We thank you for this beautiful talk, and we ask you to help us to be a better person, a better spiritist. May we follow your steps and evolve ourselves. May your simple and humble spirits inspire us to love one another and to help our neighbors wherever we go. We ask your protection for this week. Bless our family, our friends, everybody whose the name are in the vibration list, people who are suffering now. May we have a good sleep as well, helping us to get better at the end of this spiritual treatment. Once again, thank you for everything, and we ask you and the good spirits to stay with us today and always. So be it.
Let us now prepare ourselves for the moment of the passes and the magnetization of water. Let's now calm our hearts, breathing in and out. Pay attention to your body. Focus on your breath and let yourself be carried by this energy. Let your thoughts pass by without judging them. Let them flow. Allow this light to be the beacon that guides you, and allow these words to penetrate your energy. Make each word an anchor of gratitude, faith, and trust. With the purpose of healing, which takes away my faith, healing every feeling of separation, of pain, let it all dissolve in this moment, leaving only love, gratitude, and trust. We ask God for the presence of our guardian angel and the friendly spirits who welcome us into this enlightened environment of our Spiritist Center. We open our plexus of love and forgiveness by mentalizing a light surrounding our hearts. Find a quiet and comfortable place to begin the mentalization process. Remove all worries from your thoughts. We ask that during the pass you breathe slowly and deeply. Let your body relax and surrender yourself to a deep meditation. Calmly imagine divine energies in soft and colorful light surrounding you in an environment of peace and spiritual warmth. Entrusting God with your most intimate desires, raise your thoughts to Jesus and the emissaries of the spiritual environment. The pass begins with the cleansing of your soul. Imagine a waterfall of crystal clear water pouring over us, removing all the feelings that keep you away from faith and trust. Feel the energy of this water bathing you and deeply breathe in, feeling peace and harmony. Allow this water to wash away all the impurities and spiritual larvae, washing away all the sorrows and resentments, any feelings of hatred and revenge that hold us back and cause us harm, not only from this life, but past ones as well. Now visualize spiritual doctors around you, applying magnetic cleansing passes, sanitizing your spiritual body of all sadness and negative energy. Mentalize these negative thoughts and feelings being washed away, evaporating from your soul, like water evaporating into thin air, and being carried far away from your mind. Surround yourself with the faith that bathes your being, bringing clarity and lucidity, rebalancing every cell in your body. May the water envelop all pain and bring the clarity of opportunity that chooses peace. The answer arises in our hearts, freeing us from all evil and freeing all whom we have caused evil into and who have caused us evil, washing away all the connections that bind us. Even though we may not understand, we are freeing ourselves from all that causes us harm. Feel this cleansing penetrate your soul and release. Now that we are spiritually cleansed, imagine yourself surrounded by the light of love from the hands of Jesus. At this moment, sing words of faith and gratitude, being faithful to the light that exists in me, planted by the zealous Father. Imagine the sunlight that surrounds and enraptures, freeing us from the chains of everything that holds us down, strengthening your faith. Allow yourself to trust in this light, surrender to it, involved in pleasant feelings and feeling relieved to receive the strengthening lights. Mentalize your spiritual mentors now applying divine light for the strengthening of your mind and your emotions, leaving you feeling emotionally revitalized. Let us now mentalize the magnetization of this water. May we mentalize all the friendly spirits, magnetizing this water and filling it with everything that our bodies, minds, and soul need, so that it may be of help to us when we drink it after the Pass. Thank you, God.
Thank you for joining us tonight. We will be back next Tuesday here on Spiritism Canada and Continental Concafres Americas at 8:30 p.m. East, and next Wednesday on Kardec Radio at 8 p.m. East. And please don't forget to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube from the Spiritism Canada and the Spiritist group Path of the Light. Have a good night.
Come on, my friend, come to the light. Here with all our heart and soul, let's follow Jesus Christ. Let us preach the peace, let us preach the love. And this world already wonderful will be much more. Get up, look at the sky, in the earth where the flowers bloom with sunshine. Let's hold our hands and be together on this road. Then we take peace and love and spread it to the world. Good vibes, laughter and shout outs, show it to the world. Always follow the footsteps of our Lord. All roads that I shall walk on, sowing seeds of peace. This light that keep us shining will be brighter and brighter. Oh, will be brighter and brighter. Oh, will be brighter and brighter. Oh.
Sing this song along with me. Just open up your hearts. Feel harmony and peace inside yourself. Life is a great school, teaching always to do good. Learning that in order to be happy, we need to help. Learning to accept that everyone deserves respect. Uniting all their hearts with a gesture of affection. Finding our happiness will be spread in joy. There is no other way. Charity is the solution. Only one love, only one ideal. So in love and peace in the world. Concafres, feel the life within ourselves, and love will certainly appear, and the world will be in peace. Sing this song along with me. Just open up your hearts. Feel harmony and peace inside yourself. Life is a great school, teaching always to do good. Learning that in order to be happy, we need help. Learn to accept that everyone deserves respect. Uniting all their hearts with a gesture of affection. Finding our happiness will be spreading joy. There is no other way. Charity is the solution. Only one love, only one ideal. So in love and peace in the world. Come care for us. Feel the life within ourselves, and love will certainly appear, and the world will be in peace. Only one love, only love ideal. So in love and peace in the world. Come care for us. Feel the life within ourselves, and love will certainly appear, and the world